How's it going, everybody? Desir here, and today we have our round 2 matchup for Cosmic Crucible. Today our opponent is LJ2 Play, and we're still finding our footing, getting our groove back as far as the new season rules of Cosmic Crucible come into play. I'm still going to be doing a little bit of experimenting, talking about why I picked the teams and characters that I did, and what my thought process is as I'm still to go through my typical walkthrough guide of the battles itself. Now, if you do like this content, please remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead check out my opponent's TCP and defenses. Now, LJ's TCP is 107 million TCP. So this is going to be more of a punch across than anything. Now, I'm not going to take anything for granted. I'm still going to be trying my best, but like I said, this is early on in the season, and I like to do a little bit of experimenting, try to push my limits a little bit more than the mid-season, if you will. Now let's go ahead and check out the defenses for what we're going against today. In Stage 1, they have the X-Treme X-Men with Rogue. In Stage 2, they have Hive Mind with Gorr and Dorm. In Stage 3, they have the Annihilators with Vahl and Super Skrull. For Stage 4, they have the Mercs for Money with Phoenix and Bishop. For Stage 5, they have the Spider Society and Black Knight. And for Stage 6 is Mephisto with a 3-piece Alpha Flight and Quicksilver. Let's go ahead and start the attacks. For Stage 1, we're using our Superior 6 team. We did end up taking out Lizard. We added Vulture in. The reason for that is because of Nightcrawler on that X-Treme X-Men team, so that way we can take away that speed up and we can get an early jump on the team. As far as the ISOs go, we have them all as strikers because of that room rule. Vulture will be going first here. We're going to end up targeting the Forge actually and using the special. That way we can call in all the attacks and get some pretty good damage on Forge right off the bat. For Green Goblin Classic, we're going to target the Nightcrawler and use the ultimate. I want to start getting some pretty good damage on the Nightcrawler. Rogue does end up getting the reflexive taunt off of that, so Kraven's going to end up using the special targeted on the Rogue. For Doc Ock's turn, we're going to end up using the special that's going to get the Shocker summoned out on the field. For Spider Slayer's turn, we're going to target the Forge and use the special. The assists do come in and we end up getting that kill on the Forge. For Vulture's turn, we're going to target the Gambit and use the Ultimus. We get a nice turn meter rewind, and we can actually get rid of the pings that Gambit gives off. For Shaka's turn, we're going to use the basic into the Nightcrawler. That was able to get the Evade stripped off of him. For Green Goblin Classic's turn, we're going to use the special into the Nightcrawler so that way we can get him killed off. Vulture's going to use the basic into the Sunspot and that gets the kill on him, and now we have a very easy kill on the Rogue. For Stage 3, we're going to use the Mercs for Money with Apocalypse. Apocalypse is going to make sure Gladiator doesn't spawn in with the Safeguard, and that will allow Old Man Logan to use the special into the Gladiator, so that way we can get the stun on him. That will give a lot more control to where we can try to take down the Super Skrull, and the 3-piece of the Mercs for Money is going to allow it to where Pandapole will keep coming back, so that's going to allow protection for us. Super Skrull's going to start the match off by using the special into the Deadpool. Vahl's going to follow that up with a special into the Deadpool as well, and that does unfortunately kill the Dakin off. For Old Man Logan's turn, we're going to use the special into the Gladiator, and we do get the stun on him. Apocalypse is going to use the ultimate, and we do have to use the Falcon Punch on the Gladiator because the Super Skrull didn't get the stealth taken off of him. Super Skrull is going to use that ultimate into the Panda Pole, and that does end up killing him, but he comes right back. Panda Pole is going to use the basic into the Super Skrull, so that way we can get the Old Man Logan assistant. Old Man Logan's going to use that ultimate into the Super Skrull, and we do get the Striker hit into him as well. For Apocalypse's turn, we're going to end up using that special into the Ultimus. That way we can get the kill on him. The Super Skrull does end up using the basic, and because it hits the Apocalypse, we end up getting the stun on him. Old Man Logan's going to finish off the Vahl, and now we're going to focus down the Thanos, and then we're going to switch over to the Super Skrull. As you see, because we have that 3-piece Marks for Money team, Panda Pole does keep coming back in this matchup as long as they both stay alive. For stage 4, we're going to end up using our Cabal team with Ultimus and Archangel. Because there's those pre-taunts over there, Ultimus will be able to ult on turn 1, and that's going to get some very good turn meter to the Cabal team to where we can go very fast. As we get those kills, Archangel will be doing that turn meter rewind to the enemy team. Ultimus will be going first here, and we're going to opt to use the ultimate into the Bishop. For Archangel's turn, we're going to use the special into the Phoenix, so that way we can try to get a better chance of a crit. Iron Patriot's going to end up using the special into the Phoenix, that calls the assistant, and we get another kill. For Namor's turn, we're going to use the ultimate because we're stuck on the Panda Pole. That was able to kill the Dakin, the Panda Pole, and the Dark Phoenix, and Archangel ends up taking care of Old Man Logan. For stage 5, we're going to end up using our Secret Defenders with Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now what I should have done here is actually sack this room and then follow it up with this. However, it's earlier in the season. I want to see if I can actually go for that one shot like I was able to in the previous season. However, because of the room rules of stage 5, that does make this more difficult. Now because this is in room 5, every time that we end up hitting into the opponent, we're going to end up getting defense down on us. And the Black Knight's going to make it to where those pings hurt very badly. As you see, he was able to basically one-shot the Ms. Marvel Hardlight, who was already injured from the Spider-Man War, but this does get kind of bad. I end up using the special from Black Cat into the Penny. We don't end up getting that trauma stun on her. For Ghost Rider Robbie, we end up using the special to get the ability block into the Peter B. Parker, and you can see what the damage of these pings from Black Knight are doing with that defense down on us. For Photon's turn, we're going to use the special into the Spider-Man Noir, so that way we can get some blinds out there. Spider-Man Pavitra ends up going and does end up taking out our Cosmic Ghost Rider and our Photon. Now I am going to end up keeping this matchup. I'm going to try to burn as many abilities as I can, and then we'll see if we can actually clean this up with the exhausted Black Knight. For stage 6, we did end up doing the double sack into this room. The main goal of that really wasn't worried about the abilities, it was more about getting the double exhaust mechanic on the Mephisto. For the actual attack team in here, we are going to end up using the New Warriors with Guardian. This should walk over this team with that double exhaust. Gwenpool's going to start the match off by using the special into the Sasquatch, and Firestar is going to use the ultimate into the Sasquatch to follow that up. Deathpool's going to end up using the special into the Wolverine to spread those negative effects to the Mephisto and the Sunfire. Cloak's going to target the Mephisto and use the ultimate, and Gwenpool's going to use the ultimate as well. All the negative effects that we have are now cleansed off, and we have Safeguard. We were able to take out the rest of the members, and now we have a very easy kill on the Mephisto. For stage 5, we're going to try to do a cleanup on this using the Hive Mind team. This goes very badly for us. I was thinking the Hive Mind would be able to go first in here, but that's not the case because of that Spider-Man Pavitra. So I'm not really going to do any narrating in this, there's not much to say, so just enjoy the show. Because that didn't work, I end up using the Masters of Evil after this. Now what I should have done is actually drop the Ultron and put Nova in here. I think this would have actually worked a whole lot better. I forgot about the passive buff that Spider-Man Noir gets, where every time we get buffs, he ends up getting turn meter, and that does actually hurt us in this matchup. The enemy Spider-Man Noir is going to end up going first into us, which is perfectly fine. Titania's going to follow that up by using the ultimate into the Black Knight. Now we weren't able to take any of the buffs off, and it is Kang's turn. We're going to use the special into the Black Knight, and we'd get the striker hit into him as well. For Ultron's turn, this is one of the mistakes I make. I end up using the special, and that starts to speed up the Spider-Man Noir. It doesn't really dawn on me until it's too late of what's going to end up happening here. Moonstone's going to use the ultimate into the Penny, and we do end up getting the stun on her. When it gets to Titania's turn, I target the Spider-Man Pavitra and use the special. Now for the bots for Ultron, I do end up using the special, so that way we can get that cleanse. And Ultron's going to end up using the ultimate into the Spider-Man Pavitra. We unfortunately don't get the kill yet on him, and the Spider-Man Pavitra takes his turn and does some pretty significant damage to us. When it gets to Kang's turn, we end up targeting the Black Knight and use the ultimate. I wanted to make sure that he got killed off. This was another mistake that I made. I end up targeting towards the Peter B. Parker as opposed to trying to take out that Spider-Man Noir. When it gets back to Ultron's turn, I do end up using the special again into the Penny. Again, that's going to start speeding up the Spider-Man Noir, and he basically is the reason I end up losing this matchup. So I'm going to let this play out. I do end up backing out of this matchup so I can try to save this team and use this elsewhere. For Stage 2, I end up bringing the Masters of Evil in here, including the Ultron again. Now, because of the Hive Mind characters, I definitely should have dropped Ultron in here. I was thinking I might be able to get ahead of the Carnage to where that speed up wouldn't matter. Titania will be going first in this matchup, and I'm going to target the Void Knight and use the ultimate, so that way I can get that ability block on him. For Kang's turn, I target the Gorr and use the special. The ISO attack comes in and we get a pretty good hit on him. When it gets to Ultron's turn, we end up using the special into the Carnage. That way we can do that turn meter rewind to him. When it gets to Moonstone's turn, again we use the ultimate into the Carnage, so we do get the stun on him. For Titania's turn, we use the special into the Red Goblin. Ultron ends up using the ultimate into the Gorr, and Absorbing Man used the ultimate into the Void Knight. Now this is one of the mistakes I end up making. I used the basic from Titania into the Carnage, so I do end up taking him out of that stun. Red Goblin ends up taking his turn and uses the ultimate, and Gorr ends up using his ultimate as well, and because of those bots out there, we end up feeding a lot of turn meter to the Hive Mind team. So right now the Hive Mind is taking all of their turns, and I am going to end up keeping this just because we burned a lot of their abilities, and we were able to take the Dorm low enough. So we will be coming back in with a cleanup. For the cleanup in here, I'm going to take my own Hive Mind team in. We're going to have the full team, and they're going to have 3 members of the Hive Mind, and Dorm is already injured enough. So this should work fairly well. Our Void Knight will be going first, and we're going to target the enemy Void Knight and use the ultimate on him. Now the enemy Gorr does end up taking his turn, and that follows that up with the enemy Carnage. For us, we need to try to knock somebody low enough, so we're going to end up targeting the Dorm and use the ultimate to get him killed off. For Gwenum's turn, we target the enemy Void Knight and use the ultimate, and again we knock him in red. So right now we are doing fairly well. Venom's going to use the ultimate into the Carnage to spread those negative effects, and Red Goblin cleans it up with the ultimate. So unfortunately did end up losing this matchup. LJ deserved the victory on this one. I made that crucial mistake in stage 5 where it went for the one shot. I got greedy when I should have sacked the room, then went in for that. LJ ended up getting a 48,543 points. I got a 40,619 points. Let's go ahead though, check out the defenses to see what ended up happening. For stage 1, I ended up using my Superior 6 with Vulture into the X-Treme X-Men team. That worked fairly well. It got me at 8364. For stage 2, I ended up making that mistake where I brought Ultron in instead of somebody else again. I was able to clean that up with the Hive Mind. This ended up getting me a 7962. For stage 3, I ended up using that Mercs for money with Apocalypse. Dakin unfortunately didn't get to do anything as Super Skrull took him out very quickly. This ended up getting me a 8360. For stage 4, I ended up using my Cabal, Archangel, Ultimus. This was able to walk over that Mercs for money team and gave me an 8371. And stage 5 was definitely the downfall of this matchup. I got very greedy and went for the one shot instead of the safe play of the sack with the follow up, and this got me 0 points because of that. For stage 6, I did end up doing the double sack method as you see here. I was able to follow that up with the New Warriors, and this got me a 7562. And for my defenses, my opponent ended up using their Illuminati into my Illuminati with the Sasquatch Pre-Taunt. Now I did end up having a mistake here to where I had Mr. Fantastic on defense as opposed to the Black Bolt. The Black Bolt passive would allow me to have the 50% extra health, and the added benefit of the burps to try to take them out when I knocked them low enough. That was a mistake on my part, and that has been corrected. This got me at 8358. For stage 2, my opponent used their Secret Defenders into my Out of Time Orcus team. This ended up getting them at 8360. For stage 3, my opponent used their Eternals with Ares, and they brought along Spider-Man Big Time and Emma. They were able to take out the Infinity Watch and got an 8368. For stage 4, my opponent did the double sack method into my Spider Society Mephisto. They were able to clean that up using their Superior 6 team. This got them a 7563. For stage 5, my opponent ended up doing a sack into my Extreme X-Men Rogue Black Knight team. They end up following that up using their Tangled Web APOC Red Hulk Kestrel team. This got them a 7956. For stage 6, I had my Annihilators with Super Skrull in here, and I also had a Thanos. Now I did end up swapping Thanos out for someone else. They were able to stop the Cabal team, however the New Warriors were able to clean that up because of the death pool using the ultimate on the Super Skrull at the end. This ended up getting them a 7938. Now overall, I do feel that my defense is starting to come together fairly well. Minus the misplays in stage 2 and 5, I do feel that I had a very good shot at winning this, but I end up making those mistakes and LJ did end up beating me. Now I'm not taking anything away from LJ, they played fantastic as you see. They had very minimal dropped attacks, it was just I end up making those mistakes and I am kind of kicking myself for that. Sometimes you do end up getting greedy, and that does end up biting you in the butt, like what happened to me. But I do look forward to hopefully getting a rematch in the future with LJ. Now, if you did end up liking this video and you did end up learning something, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.